See that oil right there? See how full that pan is? Fresh water was coming out of the oil drain. Last time you guys saw me, we were dealing with no power into the interior. I found the issue. It was a broken wire right here and our main harness going into the cabin. We fixed our brake and now everything works. Everything powers up. Everything is good to go. Other than, you know, spaghetti. I'm thinking of doing a harness tuck. I'm gonna cut all these wires right here. And then I'm gonna cut that fuse box, get rid of all this wiring, put it inside the interior, and just run a small headlight harness and whatever else we need. But that'll have to wait for a bit. In other news, I filled the cylinders with ATF, let it soak for a couple days, hopefully get all the piston rings softened up. If there's any corrosion, rust, anything, it'll help soften all of that up. I'm waiting on new rod bearings so I can replace those because they are bad. What else? Oh yeah, I bought a used new, you know, new to me, stock RB manifold with a RB25 DET turbo. That way we can do a little upgrade. I'm probably gonna go head over to Tacoma Screw, get myself a couple more bolts, new hardware so we're not running crusty hardware. And what else? We have ordered new bolts for the water lines, but the threads are just too long. So I'm gonna have to trim these down. That way we can run water cooling through our turbo. And yeah, that's about all. Just a lot of work, slowly getting things done. Oh yeah, last but not least, where are you at? Somewhere in here, right here. I purchased the door chime because I did not have a door chime and it works, so it sounds amazing. Let me get a battery in here for you so you can hear this thing. Okay, I got a battery plugged in. Let's hear it. Bruh, what's going on? Oh, there we are. Ouch. We got a fuel pump. We got lights on the dash. We got wipers. Hello. And everything works. And the door chime. Amazing. We got the Teggy project. New one. And we got this beauty. What we got going on is I am currently replacing rod bearings because these ones are a bit, you know, toasty. Pretty worn. This motor seems to be tired. Let's freshen it up a bit with a couple new bearings. We've already soaked all the cylinders with ATF. We got our RB manifold on, our new used RB25 turbo. Brand new turbo hardware. I went to a favorite place now called Tacoma Screw. Shout out VR1. Only assembly lube that I use. Never caused issues. Nice. We got special locking nuts. These are amazing. For the turbo T3 flange right here, we'll be running it like that. It'll make sure the nuts don't back out and it'll be nice and tight. We got new hardware, new studs, new nuts. We got these locking style nuts so they don't back out. New studs. Refreshing up this turbo. Save myself some pain down the road. I've gotten three out of 6 done. I'm just gonna keep on going, keep on keeping at. Okay. I cannot lower the lower control arm bolt. I have the whole car lifted off the jacks. It's literally lifting the whole car. Yeah. This is an issue. I'll try to hit it with the air gun at the same time as it's lifted. That worked, surprisingly. Awesome. Only took the whole weight of the car. Just take that off. I got the power steering rack out and the subframe. Got the subframe out. That way I can get down here and access the rest of the rod bearings. Also dropped it. That way I can cut the mounts for the subframe and lower them down, relocate them. We're gonna cut these mounts and relocate them lower. That way we have, I guess it's the angle of the tie rods, so they won't be turned in like this. It will be more straight. I don't know what it's called. Anyways, geometry stuff. Makes geometry dash, you know. Also, we'll be installing cut and welded knuckles, and I will be extending these lowers for that stance boy look. Nah, I'm joking, guys. It's just for the handling for drift. Really, really good. Cut and welded knuckles on S13 is all you need. We have all the bearings out, and I've also pulled the subframe. I want you guys to look at this bearing right here. See all that rust right there? Right there. Yup. I'm really glad I pulled this out because that would have caused a big problem. Other than that, they're decently worn out. Nothing too serious. No damage on the crank. Crank is glass smooth. Very happy with that. Time to clean this oil pan off, get the gasket material off, try to pound out the bottom because it's really dented in. And get her installed and let her start drying. Okay, it's a new day. I have pulled out the pressure washer and got the subframe nice and cleaned up. While I was washing it, I've noticed that we have a crack in the subframe right here. So we'll have to get this repaired. And once we do, we can cut and move that forward 1 inch to correct for, what is it? Forgot what it is, but it helps. I also got the turbo off. I'm gonna install the new hardware. That way I can install it and get the hot side put together. I'm putting on a high temp red thread locker on the studs. Could be way overkill, but better safe than sorry. But I'll probably be sorry once I can't pull these studs out, if I ever have to. Just double nut them on. Doesn't need too much, but it don't need too little. That's good. We got the new studs installed onto the turbo. Now we gotta install these 3 onto the downpipe, and we should be good to install it onto the manifold. Okay, so I got the subframe cut to relocate the steering rack forward. We're gonna weld it up and we're gonna reinstall it. Good morning, guys. It's the next day. I have Yesterday I welded up the subframe, painted it with primer sealer so we don't have it rusting anymore. I know it's horrendous, but some of them look not that bad. Also, I stitched up as much as I can. That way we can reinforce the subframe. Stitched everywhere where I could. Not that bad. Now we're just gonna throw a paint of coat on it and toss the rack in. That way we can get this thing back in the car. Okay, progress is going good. I got the subframe installed right there. Oh, right here, got the new subframe installed. Next up on the list is power steering lines, get the steering shaft in. Ooh, I'm probably gonna have to take this off to get the steering shaft on. Did not think of that. Anyways, main thing is I got all the turbo plumbed and torqued. New lines on the oil feed. We're using the stock coolant lines, just new crush washers. All we're really missing is popping in an O2 sensor over here. O2 sensor. And start putting together the intercooler piping. I also have this right here, which is the factory heat shield. So, gonna have to bolt that on. And also this piece right here, which I believe goes onto this or something. Something like that, I don't know. Next on the list is oil. I bought oil VR1 and bolt on the valve covers, find hardware for all that. Probably gonna have to go buy some today. Also need to bolt on the engine because it's not bolted on right now. It's just floating in the air right there, both sides. Bolt that on, now I can release the jack and we should be good. Okay, after fighting with it, I finally have installed the steering shaft. Oh boy. I have assembled a lot of stuff in the hopes of firing it up tonight. I honestly just want to hear this thing run. Got the intake on, quote unquote on, just got like 2 bolts holding it on. That way we don't have too big of an air leak, but we got, you know. Anyways, I got the spark plugs in, I got the coils in. Let's see, put new oil in it, new filter. Let's see if it wants to run. God bless. Oh well. No luck for tonight. I don't know what it could be. So yesterday night, I was in here scratching my head trying to figure out why it didn't start. I was checking everything with the multimeter. I even went ahead and rewrapped the entire ignition harness to check the wires. I stripped it all down to make sure there's no broken harness, no broken wires, sorry. So let me show you where we're at right now. Next up on the chopping board, reinstall the intake properly. Make sure there's 0 vacuum leaks or coolant leaks. Then I guess radiator hoses, add water, then do intercooler piping. Hopefully we can get some of that done today. I will just put the camera down and get to putting this thing together. Okay, the day has come. I pulled the fuel rail, time to replace the injectors and start assembling. Our order from Deechworks came in. Brand new injectors and our injectors. Nice. Okay, so I found the bolts that go into the throttle body. Need to replace those. We put brand new hose clamps all around. And I also bolted on the stock master cylinder. I'm getting fluid out of these two, but I'm not getting any out of the rear. I'm hoping that's the proportioning valve in here, not allowing fluid. So I need to block these off and try to see if fluid comes out. Also, we have the exhaust fully hooked up except that O2 sensor, which I will temporarily screw in this, what is this, Innovate. We will grab whatever wrench that is. We'll quickly pop this in so this doesn't leak and we'll get a sound check. O2 sensors tightened up. Let's get you guys parked up in the back. Wow, that is quiet. Well, we definitely got some work to do, but it's quiet. It is quiet, quiet. Wow. Sheesh. Nice. This thing sounds beautiful. I don't want to run it for too long because of all the intake leaks. We still have a open port right here that needs to be fixed. Also, all the bolts. I've taken off the lower control arms on both sides, and I've gone ahead and started the process of cutting and extending them. We got this one partially welded up and tacked up. We are well extending them 2¼ inches. I decided that's the number because that's what I decided. We are prepping the metal for the extension pieces on the lower control arm. Anyways, we got these all cleaned up for the MIG welding. Now to tack them on. Line them up both. Get them welded on. There we go. Nice. That should be flat, a bit of a spacer on the bottom. And then we grab this poorly cleaned one and we tack it on. Just throw a little tack on it for the time being so it holds. Sure. It ain't much, but it'll hold it on for me to measure. It won't hold it on, okay. Bruh. Ah. Lord, can you please just tack it on? There we go. Whew. There you go. That's how you extend a lower control arm. Might not be perfect, but you got this adjusting arm for a reason. It'll do the rest of the work. I'm happy with the result. Just gotta weld them up now and call it a day. Okay, bit of welding later. We have 2 extended lower control arms. We made sure to weld them up good. Weld them in from both sides. Get them nice and burnt on. Next thing that's left is to clean them up a bit and spray paint them so they don't rust. I took apart the suspension and we have a new wheel bearing in here, which is really nice. I'll be taking this apart, that way I can get my wheel bearing and replace the knuckle. Oh wow, this is nice. My sacrificial lug nut. You, my friend, will not be lug nutting for a while. That took like no effort at all. Bruh, what's going on here?
That did not take long. That looks good. Let's get the rest of her done.
There you go. Rebuilt wheel bearings. Next up, new knuckles. I went ahead and extended my tie rods. Also like 2 1/4 inches. I did not record it because I do not recommend doing this. It is way safer to go and buy a set of tie rods for like a, I forgot what vehicle, like a Nissan Sentra I think it was. They're longer, but I just did this because I'm broke and I want to get this done tonight. So it'll work for now. I'll probably end up replacing it. No, I won't. Good morning. Today we have a new day, and we also have cut and welded S14 knuckles that we will be running on the S13, hopefully. So these we got off of Mark's 240 when we got it. They were on the front. They seem to be done up pretty well. Cut, shortened, dropped. So I'm just gonna clean them up and just get all this surface rust on and toss on my wheel bearings and get to it. Hit them with some 600. Probably supposed to grease it or something, but I don't know. That'll work for me. Alright, we got her nice and painted up, ready to go. Finishing off the other one and I'll be right back again. And just like that, we have a mostly complete setup on this side. Wow, that looks good. For crying out loud, how would you please give me the space to put you in? There we go. There we go. Radiator hoses are on. Alternator is tight. She runs and idles. Now to add coolant. Fill her up, see how she goes. Let's go. Waiting for that coolant to start cycling. I know, I revved a cold motor. Kill me in the comments, I don't care. I want to hear this thing run, and it's running greater than it's ever ran. Let's go. Also, I'm missing a coolant temperature sensor right here, so I won't be able to see what the coolant is. I got one in the mail, but waiting for it to arrive. Not too worried about it. We'll tell once the coolant starts boiling out that it's getting hot. I also got an oil pressure gauge, so we're chilling there. Looks like the RS enthalpy is doing good. We do not have an O2 sensor hooked up, but that'll change sooner than later.